Hey everybody, good morning. So I am in my pajamas actually, and I'm about to go work out, but I was having a quiet time this morning and just trying to set my Monday for a great week, and was triggered by a memory. I was reading something this morning, and it said that this individual had never heard from his father that his father loved him. So his father never said, I love you. And what happened was, as I was triggered to remember a forgotten memory, it was a forgotten memory because there had been so much healing around it. But it definitely became a tender moment as I thought through it. It was when I was in college. I remember being home for a break, and my dad and I had a relationship. Some of you may know this, but it was sort of a rocky relationship. I definitely grew up feeling abandoned by my adopted dad when he took the other kids and started a new family and left me behind. I definitely felt unworthy and unlovable, like at the core of my essence. Like my truth was that I was unlovable. And so when I was in college, I definitely still felt this. And I remember having a yelling match. Probably my dad wasn't yelling. It was probably just me. And I remember it as I think about this memory. I was telling him, you never tell me that you love me. Like my whole life, you never have told me, I don't remember you telling me that you love me. And he paid for my college, and he was paying for my college. And I said, that's what you give me, is you just give me money. And, when you die, that's what you're going to take with you, which obviously he's not, because you can't take money, but you're going to take money with you. And it was such a wound that that took years to work through and to heal through. And I asked for forgiveness for that conversation as I began getting healed in that story and forgiving my dad, even though, it was many years. That was when I was in my 20s, and it took lots of counseling sessions and many years. And even towards the end of his time here, we had a disconnect. No matter how much I was reaching out to him and trying to share my life with him and be in relationship, he just couldn't do it. And I now know it was because he said he just had such shame and such guilt for some of the decisions he had made about me when he was younger. But the reason why I share this is to share with you about forgiveness and to encourage you to, while you still have time, do your work. It is not easy. I mean, my father wound was so deep and lasted so long and permeated every aspect of my life. But I definitely had really sweet tears of joy and overwhelm when I thought about then. Fast forward 20-something years, my father passed away in 2011, and I continued to reach out to him. I remember that last year, it was the year I was turning 40, and it was hard because I kept reaching out to him, when I ran my first half marathon, and there was Christmas involved there, and there was milestone birthdays for myself and for him, and he just was not calling me back. But I was reaching out to him because it had to do with my healing and my forgiveness and just moving toward him and moving away from self-protection. So there were a lot of lessons in there for me. And it was it was July when I had not heard from him. And then it was my birthday and then his birthday, and I just didn't reach out for several months after that. But in October of 2011, I was prompted to reach out to him, and I just thought, I wasn't feeling a sense of rejection at that time, but I just wanted him to be able to choose how to do life with me. But I was compelled to reach out, and I did, and we had a short conversation after we hadn't talked for at least a year, and it was light, and he was happy, and he said he was happy. He was living in a new state. He had family around him. He said, "When are you coming to visit?" And he got off the phone, and he said, "I love you." And what I want you to know is that unexpectedly, almost a week to the day later, my dad died just like that, of a heart attack. And it was such a gift to me that, in my heart today, I don't suffer with grief of not letting him go. I don't suffer with the grief of holding him a prisoner to, the things and the choices and our experiences when I was younger that were so painful. And I got to say goodbye. Could you imagine, even right now today, as I am reading in this devotional, if I was coming across that part where I was still stuck in that little girl phase of my dad never told me he loved me, I'd be devastated right now. So the gift in this is the beautiful healing that came to this relationship between my dad and I. Does not have me thinking about the fact that he never used to tell me that he loved me, that this was like a triggered memory. Oh my gosh. So healing is possible. And with healing comes a soft place to land in your mind, in your heart, about the person who's offended you. With healing comes peace, I think is what I would call it, peace of heart. The ability to sleep at night, to feel love, to be loving, without feeling all the need to self-protect. And, really, forgiveness allowed me to reach out when I had an inclination to reach out to him in October of 2011, after almost a full year of him not calling me back. And to have that last conversation where he said, "When are you going to come and visit? And I love you." That's the power. Those are the gifts of us doing our work, our soul work, especially around forgiveness. And I share this with you today because even as much as last week when I shared just a bit of a story at a Sammamish Chamber event, a woman said, "You are the reason I am here. I am encouraged by your story. I just look at you and think that there's hope." And she said, "You know what? You're my first line of defense as soon as I get through a few things." And so what I realized, and I realized just a week earlier from some other conversations from another speaking engagement, is there are hurting people in and around us with deep wounds or even light wounds, and stories and experiences and hurts and things that keep me from stepping into who we were uniquely fashioned to be. And so I'm going to start talking about them more. And, I realized, I don't need fame. I'm not trying to be the most popular. But if something I can say can have positive impact for you, or for someone who catches a sentence or two around the hope and the healing and the freedom and the other beautiful things that transpire from doing soul work, so that they can be more free in their own life, I'm willing to do that. So thanks for sharing part of your day with me, and I hope there was something encouraging in here for you around forgiveness, around healing, around hope, around unexpected gifts. Have an amazing Monday. Thanks for sharing part of yours with me. Bye-bye.